Welcome everyone. So some of you may have probably already heard us talk about the fact that the Earth is currently moving through a very significant shift in its energetic vibration or consciousness. And because this is such an important concept, we wanted to create a series of videos that can help to give everyone a really comprehensive understanding about what's happening at the moment and what this shift in consciousness is really all about. So we've got lots to get through, so let's get straight into it. So to start with, over the past 10 or so years, there's been lots of different channels or mediums who've been talking about some kind of shift in consciousness. And we've also seen more and more people around the world starting to feel or become aware that something very profound is happening on an energetic or a spiritual level. Now, some people refer to this shift as being some kind of paradigm shift. Some people talk about this as being a shift from a third dimensional consciousness into a fifth dimensional consciousness. Some people talk about this as being a shift into the fourth density or the fourth frequency, while others simply talk about this as being a new golden age here on Earth. So there's lots of different phrases or words that are used to describe this ongoing shift in consciousness, but effectively they're all sort of saying the same thing. The Earth is currently moving through a very significant shift in its energetic vibration, and this is something that really is very profound. So for those who are doing meditation practices or energy-based healing practices, or really any kind of spiritual or personal growth work, over the past few years you might have been starting to notice that your inner work is really starting to offer some powerful results. And maybe you're feeling like this seems to be accelerating more and more as you continue to go inwards. Maybe you're someone who's now very easily able to tune in or connect through your practice, or maybe you're feeling more depth or expansion when you meditate. Maybe you feel like you've somehow been given access to new energies or new feelings that you might not have felt before. Or on the flip side of that, maybe you're just feeling like you're constantly moving through some kind of healing crisis as you continue to be guided through more and more ascension, and as you continue to be guided through the process of releasing and surrendering the old. Maybe you're someone who's starting to notice or become aware that, or more aware of the limitations or darknesses within certain systems that are operating around the world. Maybe you're starting to notice things that maybe you didn't pay attention to before. And this could relate to any kind of worldly system. So for example, it could be, excuse me, some kind of government or political system. It could relate to some kind of economic system. Maybe it relates to some kind of medical system. And you're just starting to notice that maybe things could be run a little bit better than they are right now. And if any of that seems to be arising within you at the moment, whether it's more connection or whether it's just seeing the world through a different lens, then to us all of this is related to this truly profound shift in consciousness that's currently unfolding at the moment here on Earth. So here in this little video series, we want to provide everyone with a free resource so that anyone can learn about this shift in consciousness, including what it means, what's likely to happen, and the kind of things that you can do to help accelerate your own ascension process. And one of the reasons why we want to share this information here is because there are so many different benefits that can actually come just from understanding this one concept. So for example, if we can firstly understand that as a planet we're currently moving through a very significant shift in our energetic vibration or consciousness, and then if we can understand that right now we're moving through a really important transition phase as this shift in consciousness continues to unfold. If we can understand that we're all starting to move out of a new consciousness vibration, one that's been based around the concepts of like separation or control or manipulation, untruth. And if we can understand that we're starting to move into a new consciousness vibration, something that's based around the concepts of unity and love and compassion and truth, then just by knowing that, it can help to bring about a deeper sense of calmness or inner peace as this transition process continues to unfold. And it can also help us to know that the kinds of things to be looking out for as this transition process continues to play out here on Earth. So to explore this topic thoroughly, there's actually quite a lot of information that we need to talk about. So we thought that rather than just doing one super long video, it might be a better idea to split up the material into a few different parts. So here in this first part, we're going to be talking about really what this shift in consciousness is all about. And as we do this, we'll also be sharing some of the information that we've received from higher consciousness that can help to explain what this shift in consciousness is all about. And we'll also be sharing some of our extra insights and understandings that we've picked up along the way. So this first part will pretty much be giving you all of the foundational information, and then in parts 2, 3 and 4 we'll try to build on this and go a little deeper into what this shift in consciousness is all about. And we just want to try and help you in the highest possible way. Okay, so if we look around the world at the moment, something that's becoming very clear is that things are really starting to heat up or intensify around the world right now. So this can be seen in, well, lots of different ways. And so for those who don't perhaps realize that there is actually a very significant shift in our energetic vibration or consciousness happening right now, and that everything that's happening is actually helping us to evolve as a collective consciousness. Without understanding that, it's actually quite natural that people would feel apprehensive or anxious or even fearful about the future of our planet. I mean, there's so much conflict energy at the moment. There's quite a lot of economic struggle for people around the world. And there just seems to be lots and lots of injustice and suffering and anger and fear all around the world. But if we can start to understand or accept the idea that all of us are currently moving through a very significant transition phase, and this is going to be helping us shift our energetic vibration into higher and more harmonious ways of being, then it can help to give us some hope or perspective that in actual fact, the future of humanity is incredibly bright. And we're definitely going to be talking about that in a lot more detail as we continue to move through this little video series. And again, just so we can try and help you in the highest possible way. Okay, so let's now dive into what this shift in consciousness is all about. And maybe the best place to start is for us to explain how we were introduced to this concept and what information we received about this from higher consciousness. And I want to take you back to 2012, which is when I met my wife, Jerry. At that time, we were doing lots of meditation and healing work together. And during those first few months together, higher consciousness was bringing through quite a lot of channeled information that was basically telling us that the Earth was about to move through a very, very significant shift in consciousness, and that it was going to be taking place in the coming years and decades ahead. Now, higher consciousness spoke about this concept very eloquently. It was really, really beautiful, all the messages we received. And as we started to receive this information, one of the questions that kept arising was, well, what is this new consciousness? We really just wanted to figure out what was actually coming and just how significant it would be. And obviously, we just wanted to understand what this shift in consciousness was all about. And there was this one time when higher consciousness basically answered this question for us. And at that time, we were quite taken aback by the response, because higher consciousness basically said to us, with a deep feeling of love and compassion, that basically at our current level of consciousness, we weren't really able to even comprehend the energetic vibration or frequency that was coming. So that in itself gave us quite a bit of perspective about the significance of what this shift in consciousness was all about and the types of energies the world would be stepping into. So we were also asking higher consciousness about what they meant when they spoke about an old consciousness vibration. And basically, from what we could gather, the main theme of this old energetic vibration or consciousness seems to be based around the concepts of separation and ego and suffering and limitation and control and just basically untruth. So at one point they described the old consciousness as being a vibration of taking, and that the new consciousness would be a vibration of giving. So basically a place where we focus on offering our skills and gifts with love and benevolence and with a feeling of service to others. And we were also told that just this one piece of the shift would by itself be an extremely profound step for the world. Just this one piece of the shift would quite literally change how the world works overnight. So we should also mention here that if we see how this old consciousness vibration has been playing out here on Earth, another one of the main attributes has been the energies of control and manipulation and deception. Now there are some spiritual teachings that talk about the negative pathway as being one which focuses on servicing the self, and it does this by using a variety of control and manipulation tactics. And basically those tactics are employed by these service to self entities so they can influence the behavior of others for the benefit of themselves. And so again, this type of energy has been very prevalent in the old consciousness era of untruth, and it's something that we need to be aware of as we start to step out of these energies. So another thing we learned from higher consciousness was that there would be a period of transition as the world started to move from the old consciousness vibration into the new consciousness vibration. And our best estimate at this stage is that this process will likely take a few decades to really fully play out, depending on the types of intentions that are created by everyone here on Earth. And so right now, if we look at where the world is in this sort of present moment, we're pretty much right in the middle of this transition process. And what we mean by that is that there's still plenty of different types of old consciousness vibrations and experiences that are taking place. But there's also a lot of new consciousness energies and experiences that are taking place all over the world. So I guess you could say that right now we're sort of shedding our skin, and this skin is the old consciousness vibration. And as we continue to shed our skin, we're essentially releasing all of the old frequencies from this old era of untruth. As we continue to do this layer by layer, this then very naturally allows us to step into the new higher consciousness vibrational frequency. So we've sort of briefly talked about the old consciousness vibration, and we've sort of talked about the transition process a little bit. But what about the new consciousness? Basically, as we understand it so far, the new consciousness vibration is one that vibrates with all of the highest frequencies, including unconditional love and compassion and joy and kindness, generosity, benevolence. But it also comes with an understanding of who we really are. It's the idea that we're all divine beings just living out a human experience. And as we mentioned before, the new consciousness vibration seems to be based around the concepts of unity and truth and peace, wisdom and positivity, just anything that really helps us to align with our own divine nature, anything that uplifts or brings love or peace or hope, anything that's shared from the heart. And that's the kind of consciousness we're starting to move into as a planet. And like I just said, this is a place where we're starting to realize and understand and really step into our own limitless nature. And we're understanding and stepping into the idea that we're divine co-creators of our own reality. And this is a consciousness where we're starting to live more from the heart, and we're starting to live in the flow of things a lot more. And we're also going to be living a life that really focuses on sharing or offering our gifts and skills from our heart in order to help assist or benefit others. So a really nice analogy for this is like a flower that offers its fragrance freely and with love to all that pass by. That's the kind of feeling that we're starting to move into now as a planet. And so right now, as we look at the Earth's consciousness, again, we're right in the middle of that shedding of skin. So yes, it's true that we're all making our way towards a beautiful new consciousness vibration, but it's also quite true that we're currently transitioning out of those old energies. And those old energies have been with us for many hundreds and thousands of years. So that's why it's going to take just a little bit of time for us to transition out of those old energies and into those new consciousness frequencies. So it's best to really think about this ongoing shift in consciousness as being a process. And many people like to talk about this as being a process of awakening or ascension. And so this is a really nice way to think about this shift in consciousness. Now, we'll be going into this concept of ascension and awakening in much more detail in part 3, because this is a super important aspect to this shift in consciousness. But for now, we just wanted to make it very clear to everyone that as this transition continues to play out, it's going to be very natural to spend some of your time in these beautiful new consciousness energies, but equally so, you'll likely be spending some of your time in those old energies as well. Now, it's really wonderful to see lots and lots of people starting to really feel and open up to these new consciousness energies. These people are living more and more from their heart space, and that's really helping them to enjoy a feeling of peace and love and happiness in their life, which comes from living from their heart. But we also acknowledge the fact that there are still many, many people, and probably the majority of people, who haven't quite stepped into those new energies just yet. So these may be people who are just starting to notice or become aware of the various limitations in some worldly systems. And as this transition process continues to unfold, they're likely going to be starting to awaken to the idea that we can do better than this as a planet. And then as these types of realizations occur, these people will probably start to shed their skin more and more as they start to move more deeply into these new consciousness energies. And so again, this is a process and it will likely take some time. So when talking about this shift in consciousness concept, something else that's really important to understand is that this is a collective shift in consciousness. Everyone will likely have a different role to play in our collective shift in energetic vibration. So, for example, some people might be here to help raise awareness about this in the early stages of the shift. Some people might be here to help people heal or learn or grow as this shift continues to unfold. And some people might be playing a role in setting up new organizations or institutions or systems that can help to replace the older structures that are starting to crumble at the moment. And then others might be stepping into their awakening process a little later on as they enjoy the offerings of the early adopters. Maybe these people will start to help out with various projects that align with their own skills or talents or gifts, as we all start to find our own purpose in our soul groups and really work together to create a more loving and kind and benevolent planet. And another thing we should point out here is that this entire transition process is all being divinely guided. And this is happening both on an individual level and on a collective level. So, for example, as people start to step into the new energies more and more, they're always going to be guided through this process of awakening. And this includes being guided through the process of releasing the old energies from within themselves. And they're also going to be guided to be where they need to be so they can start receiving more of these new vibrations as well. And as we all continue to be guided through this process, it's going to essentially help us to collectively clear away more and more of this old energy, which then helps to create more room so we can step into those new energies. And again, this is happening on an individual level and on a collective level. So that's really important. And then as more and more people continue stepping into the new energetic frequencies and they continue awakening more and more to their own truly divine nature, we'll likely see more and more energetic momentum building towards those new energies. And as this continues to play out, we also want to share here that there's just so much help that's coming from lots and lots of different higher consciousness beings. And that's something we're going to be talking about in more detail during the part 2. So basically, since we started learning about this concept about 10 years ago, the Earth has basically reached a point now where the new consciousness vibration, or the layers of new consciousness vibration, really are starting to become more and more available. So as a planet, we've definitely now started this process, and we're starting to now step out of those old consciousness frequencies. Not completely, but we're really starting to make some pretty good progress. And it's also worthwhile mentioning that this transition period really is very important. So now is really an amazing time to do inner work with ourselves. And in the coming months and years ahead, it's going to continue being a good time to be mindful about how much time you're spending in the old energies and how much time you're spending in the new energies. So, for example, some people might notice that they're feeling elevated states of love and compassion and empathy and peace and surrender, let's say for 20% or 30% of their time, whereas someone else might feel like they're only spending 5% of their day in that new consciousness feeling. So there's no right or wrong. We've all got our own unique pathway, and we're all being guided to move through this transition period in a way that aligns with our own preferences, our own choices, and our own karmic circumstances. So it's really just important to move through this in a way that feels right for you. So as we become more aware or mindful of how we're spending our time vibrationally, what kind of state of being we're generally spending our time in, and once we start to seek out ways that we can improve our own vibrational state of being, this is really how we can slowly raise our energetic frequency and start stepping into these new consciousness energies more and more. So in the next video, we'll be talking more about how you can accelerate this process. It's likely that in the coming years ahead, as this process continues to unfold, we'll likely be seeing more and more people spending more and more time in the new energies, which is great. And then over time, this is going to be creating more and more energetic momentum, which can then be helpful to those who might be still in the early stages of their journey. So to explain this in a little bit more detail, higher consciousness described this process to us as being like a rubber band. So as more and more people spend more time in these new higher frequencies, it has the effect of uplifting those who might be just at the start of their journey and who might not be connecting with these new frequencies as much. So in this way, the more time that you can spend in those higher frequencies, the more you're going to be, well, firstly helping yourself, but also helping others, because you'll be uplifting them into higher energetic vibrations. So that's something else to keep in mind as well. Okay, so that now gives everyone a pretty good big picture perspective or introduction or understanding about this shift in consciousness concept. In the next video, we're going to be going into more detail about just how much higher consciousness help there is at the moment and how much beautiful energies we're receiving at the moment as a planet. And also we're going to be talking about how you can accelerate this ascension process, and also how you can smoothen out this process as well. So we look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Thanks for watching, and we hope you continue to enjoy this beautiful shift in our collective vibration.